Emily and the high school hockey team thought it was just a private video until it went viral and sparked a shocking sexual assault investigation that would divide a community and leave their lives forever changed. It all began with a video that no one could have anticipated. A teenage girl, known among her peers for her outgoing personality and social media activity, uploaded a clip that she described as a consensual recording with multiple members of her high school hockey team. Within hours, the video was being shared across social media platforms, spreading like wildfire. Classmates whispered in hallways, strangers commented on forums, and soon, the video had reached national attention. What was meant to be a private recording had become a public spectacle, drawing both curiosity and condemnation from every corner. The reaction was immediate and intense. Some people expressed shock at the sheer number of participants involved, while others questioned the girl's motives and behavior. Many wondered how such a chaotic situation could have unfolded without anyone stepping in or recognizing potential danger. Within a day, law enforcement became involved. The video raised serious legal and ethical questions, particularly around consent, age, and the dynamics of peer pressure. Investigators faced a complicated scenario. They needed to determine whether the girl had genuinely given consent, whether anyone had exploited her, and whether any laws had been broken. The girl herself was at the center of a storm. Her online persona, once lighthearted and playful, was now scrutinized under an intense spotlight. Every post, comment, and story she had ever shared was being dissected for clues. The hockey team members, too, faced relentless questioning. Authorities worked tirelessly to piece together the timeline, examining text messages, social media interactions, and digital footprints. What appeared at first glance to be a simple viral incident revealed layers of complexity. Small inconsistencies in the story, deleted messages, and conflicting accounts added doubt and tension to the investigation. As the video continued to circulate, the community around the girl and the hockey team began to fracture. Some friends supported her, believing she had acted willingly, while others condemned her, insisting that she had manipulated the situation. The case sparked widespread debate online, with commentators dissecting every frame of the video, every message, and every action. Suddenly, a personal choice that should have remained private had transformed into a social and legal crisis, illustrating just how quickly modern technology could turn ordinary teenagers' lives upside down. The viral nature of the incident set the stage for what would become one of the most controversial and widely discussed cases in recent memory. Investigators, school authorities, and the public all realized that this was more than a typical teenage scandal. It was a situation that could have long-lasting consequences for everyone involved. Every detail mattered, every action was scrutinized, and the line between consent and coercion became increasingly blurred as the story unfolded. Investigators plunged into the case with meticulous attention, determined to untangle the chaos captured in the video. Every detail mattered, from phone records to social media activity, as they worked to reconstruct the events leading up to the recording. The teenage girl had claimed that she had participated willingly, but authorities had to be certain. Teenagers' memories could be unreliable, and the sheer number of participants made it difficult to establish a clear narrative. Each member of the hockey team was interviewed separately, their accounts compared against messages, timestamps, and digital evidence. Even minor discrepancies drew intense scrutiny. As the investigation deepened, new complexities emerged. Deleted messages resurfaced through backups, revealing conversations that seemed to contradict initial statements. Some witnesses described confusion and pressure during the encounter, while others insisted that everyone had acted voluntarily. Forensic analysis of the video became a critical part of the case. Experts examined the footage frame by frame, looking for signs of manipulation, coercion, or misrepresentation. They discovered subtle edits in certain sections, suggesting that the sequence of events might have been altered or staged. At the same time, other parts of the footage clearly showed the girl taking an active role, strengthening her claim of consent. The community around the girl and the hockey team felt the ripple effects of the investigation. Parents, coaches, and classmates watched closely, forming opinions that often clashed with the facts. Rumors circulated, fueled by speculation and social media commentary, further complicating the already tense environment. The school administration struggled to balance disciplinary action with legal obligations, wary of making decisions that could jeopardize the investigation or unfairly punish students. The girl herself faced an emotional and psychological toll. The pressure of being under investigation, coupled with online harassment and the sudden loss of privacy, made it difficult to focus on school or personal life. Even small details, like receiving messages from strangers or seeing judgmental posts online, contributed to a growing sense of isolation. The hockey team members experienced similar stress, each navigating accusations, guilt, and the fear of lasting reputational damage. Throughout the investigation, law enforcement recognized that the situation was unprecedented. Cases involving multiple participants, social media evidence, and teenage consent were rare and legally complex. Every decision required careful consideration, balancing the legal definitions of consent with the moral and social implications of the situation. The more investigators uncovered, the clearer it became that the story was far from simple. Each new piece of evidence had the potential to shift the direction of the case, keeping authorities on edge and the community anxious for answers. As the investigation unfolded, the story leaped from the courtroom into living rooms, phones, and social media feeds across the country. News outlets picked up the case, reporting every detail of the video and the ongoing investigation. The teenage girl and the hockey team became household names almost overnight. Social media exploded with opinions, debates, and outrage. Some people condemned the girl, accusing her of manipulation and recklessness. Others defended her, arguing that the boys had participated willingly and that she had been unfairly targeted. Hashtags trended, and comment sections filled with heated arguments, each side convinced of their own version of the truth. The public reaction was relentless. Friends of the girl tried to stand by her, but even they were caught in the storm of judgment. Classmates who had once ignored her suddenly scrutinized her every action. The hockey team members faced similar pressure. Parents and coaches expressed disappointment and worried about the lasting impact on their children's reputations. Every social interaction became charged with tension, as whispers in school hallways mixed with online scrutiny, amplifying the stress on those involved. The girl's life changed dramatically. She was no longer just a teenager living her life. She had become a symbol in a much larger debate about consent, social media, and teenage decision-making. Harassment messages poured in, ranging from judgmental comments to direct threats. Even simple activities like walking to class or attending practices were overshadowed by fear and anxiety. Meanwhile, the hockey team members struggled with a combination of guilt, confusion, and the social stigma attached to their involvement. Online discussions often ignored nuance. Simplified narratives dominated feeds, painting clear villains and victims where the reality was far more complicated. The case highlighted uncomfortable truths about peer pressure, sexual boundaries, and the influence of social media on young people's lives. Adults, students, and commentators debated whether the law could adequately address such a situation or if it was inherently a moral question outside legal definitions. The intensity of public attention added pressure on law enforcement, who had to conduct their investigation without yielding to online opinion. Every new leak or rumor complicated the case, and investigators had to sift through misinformation to find the truth. The viral nature of the incident had created a living pressure cooker of scrutiny and emotion, making it clear that the consequences would extend far beyond the courtroom. As the debate raged on, everyone involved had to navigate a world where perception could be as powerful as facts, and where a single video could forever change lives. The courtroom became the stage where the story would face its most critical scrutiny. Prosecutors argued that the chaotic nature of the encounter made genuine consent impossible. They painted a picture of confusion and peer pressure, claiming that the teenage girl's actions, though seemingly voluntary, had created a situation that overwhelmed the participants and left room for exploitation. Evidence was presented carefully, including messages, witness testimonies, and psychological assessments, all aimed at showing that the events were too complex to be truly consensual. The defense countered with a different narrative. They argued that the girl had actively participated and that the video itself demonstrated her willingness. Experts testified that while the situation was unconventional, it did not meet the legal standards for sexual assault. The courtroom tension grew with every piece of evidence introduced. Each side tried to make sense of the footage, examining gestures, expressions, and interactions, searching for clarity in a situation full of ambiguity. One of the most dramatic moments came when digital forensic experts revealed that parts of the video had been edited. Certain scenes had been rearranged, and some sections were missing entirely. This revelation cast doubt on several of the prosecution's claims and surprised both the jury and the spectators. At the same time, other portions of the footage showed the girl's active involvement, strengthening the defense's position. Every revelation seemed to shift the balance of the case, making it impossible to predict the outcome. Witnesses provided conflicting accounts, adding another layer of complexity. Some hockey team members described feeling pressured, while others insisted they had acted willingly. Friends of the girl testified about her personality and behavior, attempting to contextualize her actions. Experts on teenage behavior weighed in, emphasizing the difficulty of interpreting consent and motivation in a high-pressure social environment. The jury was left to navigate a maze of evidence, testimony, and emotional accounts, all while under the weight of public attention. Outside the courtroom, the tension did not subside. Media coverage continued to dissect every aspect of the trial, and social media buzzed with speculation. Each development was amplified, creating an atmosphere of relentless scrutiny. The legal battle had become a public spectacle, forcing everyone involved to confront not only the law but the court of public opinion. The trial highlighted the delicate balance between legal definitions, social expectations, and the personal realities of teenagers navigating complex situations. Every day brought new twists, and it became clear that the courtroom drama was far from predictable, leaving the entire community on edge as they awaited the final verdict. The day of the verdict arrived with tension so thick it could be felt in the courtroom and across the community. Friends, family, and media gathered, all waiting to see how the case would conclude. For months, the teenage girl had lived under a microscope, her private life turned inside out, and now the final judgment would determine not only her legal fate, but the trajectory of her life. The jury had been tasked with an almost impossible decision: to weigh consent, pressure, and behavior in a situation that was chaotic, public, and heavily scrutinized. When the announcement came, the courtroom fell into a tense silence. The jury acquitted the girl, concluding that there was insufficient evidence to convict her of sexual assault. The decision sent shockwaves through the community and the online world alike. Relief washed over some who had supported her, believing she had acted willingly. Outrage consumed others, convinced that justice had not been served. The verdict became a flashpoint for broader debates about teenage behavior, consent, and the impact of social media on legal proceedings. The aftermath was complex and far-reaching. For the girl, acquittal did not erase the public scrutiny or the emotional toll she had endured. She faced continued harassment online, and her reputation had been permanently altered. Returning to school and navigating friendships was difficult, as she had become both infamous and misunderstood. The hockey team members, too, carried the burden of public opinion. Even though they were not found legally responsible, their involvement remained a point of judgment and gossip, shaping how others viewed them for years to come. The case also prompted larger conversations about responsibility, technology, and social pressures. Experts and commentators debated how law, morality, and social media intersected in situations like this. It became clear that viral content could have consequences far beyond the moment it was recorded. The story served as a warning about how quickly private actions can escalate, how social pressure can distort perception, and how the court of public opinion often operates with little nuance. Over time, the intense media coverage faded, but the impact remained. The girl, the hockey team, and the community had all been changed by an incident that began as a seemingly private choice. It left lasting questions about trust, boundaries, and judgment in the digital age. The consent video incident became a cautionary tale, a reminder that actions captured on camera can ripple far beyond intention, shaping lives, reputations, and discussions about consent for years to come.